Hey guys, it's Kana back again for another spooky season review. And as I'm trying to go through the month of October, watching one horror movie a day, although not necessarily reviewing all of them here on the channel, so make sure you are following me on Letterboxd and also on TikTok, where you will see quick takes of some of my reviews. I wanted to sit down and talk about this movie in particular because I was very excited to get the opportunity to watch this movie and to review it. I got a chance to watch it with my high school seniors for our part of our film club, mainly off of the fact that the film has a PG rating. I was like, oh, it's a horror movie with a PG rating. We can definitely do that. And then as I began to uncover more about the film, a film that, yes, I've seen, but never in its entirety, probably bits and pieces on cable television growing up, like on TBS or TNT. And so I definitely had never seen the entirety of this film, but I have seen pieces of it and I was aware of it. But I was surprised to find out that this had anything at all to do with Steven Spielberg. I mean, a mere 3 years before he would go on to create The Color Purple, or to direct The Color Purple, because he didn't write it, it's Alice Walker, but he went on to direct The Color Purple just 3 years after writing this film. Mind-boggling, I tell you, mind-boggling. And this film came out the year that I was born, and so just a few days away from my birth date, I was like, let's just sit down and review Poltergeist. Now, in case you've never seen Poltergeist, it centers around the Freeling family and their home in a planned community in California. They have a 6-year-old daughter named Carol Ann, and Carol Ann begins to speak to the people inside of the TV static. That's concerning enough, but when they begin to experience weird happenings around their house, moving furniture, a weird earthquake that no one else in the community experiences, they know that things are a little bit unusual. And soon the house begins to come for their children, their son Robbie and their daughter Carol Ann, and resulting in Carol Ann's disappearance. They seek the help of some spiritual paraprofessionals, parapsychologists. Dr. Lesh and her team come to the house to figure out what's going on and to encounter this spiritual seismic activity that's at play. And when they can't do anything about it, they seek the help of a medium played by Zelda Rubinstein, who, if you've ever seen Teen Witch, you will recognize her from there, in order to help Carol Ann step into the light and come back to the land of the living. This film stars JoBeth Williams and Craig T. Nelson, and is probably mostly famous for being that Hollywood film that was cursed. And by cursed, I mean that it had a lot of deaths surrounding the film, namely the death of the young lady who played the 16-year-old teenage daughter in the house, Dominique Dunn, and then the star of the film, who played 6-year-old Carol Ann, Heather O'Rourke, who died after the filming of the third film before its release, which kind of tanked that movie because they really weren't able to promote it well due to her passing. So RIP to both of those young ladies. I sat down to watch this film, guys, and was utterly stunned. I mean, I just told you, I picked this film in particular because of the PG rating. And so to sit down and watch it, it's got drug use in it, it's got some naughty language in it, and then to see some of the body horror that was in this film that I definitely was not expecting, I was like, whoa, pump the brakes. Did a little background digging and found out that the MPAA wanted to give this a rated R, and then Steven Spielberg kind of fought them on it, made some adjustments in order to get them to rated PG. Now, as best as I can tell, in 1982, they didn't really have the PG-13 rating, and maybe it was just like not fully created at that time, because this is definitely one that needs to be like back to the MPAA and reissued with a minimum of a PG-13 rating, because there is just no way in God's green earth that my kids would be able to watch this movie without screaming their heads off and having nightmares for the next week solid. Incredible creature work, face work, body horror work, practical effects. Some of them look a little hokey right now, given the time and the technology. But this film had some real scares to it, and I wasn't expecting to be scared from a PG-rated film that came out in 1982. Mainly, a lot of my viewing of this film was me yelling at JoBeth Williams' character to stop being dumb. I mean, there's one moment where she's realizing something weird is going on in the house. The chairs in the house keep moving, and she realizes that if she sits a chair in one space, it will move across the room. As she goes to show this off to her husband, played by Craig T. Nelson, he is understandably and reasonably horrified, while she thinks it is the most amazing thing ever. At this point, y'all, if I'm the mom, if I am Diane, I'm packing up my family and we're getting out of Dodge. The minute that this little girl looks back at them and says, "They're here," I'm like, "Baby, who's here? Who do you see?" "Oh, okay, we need to take you to the doctors immediately because you might kill me in my sleep." Like, even if I don't know that anyone is here, I'm scared. There were just so many moments that watching this film where you get that sense of enjoyment that you get when you're watching a horror film, and you get to be just like completely beside yourself with how idiotic the characters are being at different points in the film. At the end of the film, the fact that the family was even going to stay there another night was astounding to me. And I very vividly did remember the final moments of the film, so those scenes were preserved for me. But there were some scenes with Richard Lawson's character, who I wasn't expecting to be in the movie, and with Martin Casella's character, where there's like the body horror and he's like ripping his face off. I was like, TBS did not show me this scene right here. I definitely didn't see this. But this film was so much fun to watch, guys. I had such a good time. And I think that's one of the things that I love about watching classic horror. It can be both at times horrifying and scary, but then it just is a lot of fun. You're just in that time period where from I think 78 until probably 88, horror was just really fun. We kind of circled back to that in the mid 90s, and now we have, elevated horror. But I had a great time watching Poltergeist. So if you are looking for a movie to watch this spooky season, definitely give Poltergeist a try. It loses something for me because the characters are so idiotic at times, and it was just a smidge too long with some of the scenes, especially between Craig T. Nelson's character and James Cameron's character. Just a little bit too long. They could have shaved off about 20 minutes of this movie and given us a tight 90, and I would have liked it a bit more. So I'm definitely going to give Poltergeist a 3.5 out of 5 stars, or because I like to grade movies over here as I am a teacher, I am going to give this a solid B+, because it's better than a B movie, but not quite an A for me. Let me know your thoughts around Poltergeist if you've watched it, and I'll see you guys for the next spooky movie. Toodles! Woo!